Welcome to this week's Overwatch news without the bullshit. Let's get started. This week sees a number of changes hit the PTR, most notably being the long-awaited Symmetra rework. This includes her upgraded primary and secondary fire modes that have fucking insane damage potential, her very versatile teleporter, the throwable turrets, and the motherfucking enormous ultimate shield that completely emasculates Reinhardt. The list of changes is longer than the matchmaking timer at 4 AM, so in the interest of not making this a gross 10-minute video, feel free to read the patch notes featured in the description. There has also been 2 new social features added to the PTR. The first being the endorsements system, which allows players to commend positive behavior in game. This works by allowing players to commend a limited amount of players in their games to raise the endorsement level of the players who they feel deserve to be recognized. Every player will have an endorsement rating from 0 to 5, with 0 being toxic pieces of shit, 1 being neutral, and 5 being the gods among men, who had to play nothing but Mercy for 3 months straight at the start of the year. The 3 positive behaviors that can be commended include teamwork, sportsmanship, and shot calling. Players who commend others will receive small rewards, and players who are able to maintain a high endorsement status will also receive compensation. It's worth mentioning that these rewards have not yet been specified, and that endorsement ratings will decay if they are not maintained. The other social system is a new role queue, which makes it possible for leaders to make up groups of players who specialize in certain roles before a match. This will mean players can now have more control over their own team in an attempt to avoid 5 DPS teammates. What this also means is that the offense and defense categories have been merged into a single damage section, making it even more abundantly clear that this game desperately needs more tanks and healers. In fact, at this rate, it will likely take another 5 fucking years before the other roles are as equally represented, even if no more damage dealers are released in this time. Blizzard has stated that a 3rd social system is still being worked on and will likely come out around the end of the year, fingers crossed for guilds. Horizon Lunar Colony has also been reworked, including adding a set of stairs to point A, adding a balcony to point B, and in general giving the map more aesthetic improvements. A number of balance changes have been announced in the PTR that are easy to overlook. Doomfist's passive shield gain has been increased from 30 to 35, making him slightly more survivable, as well as his ultimate movement speed increased from 150 to 200%. Moving on, Orisa's ultimate charge requirement has been reduced by 15%, making it available more quickly. A number of smaller changes have also been introduced, including being able to hear combat 25% further than before, and a number of statistic changes, such as the addition of Inspire uptime for Bridge Eater and scoped critical hit accuracy for Widow. It's also worth mentioning that players will now have control over the privacy settings on their career profiles, with all profiles being private by default. Also, a reminder that this weekend will feature double experience, making it a perfect time to push for those loot boxes before the anniversary event has ended. In other news, Symmetra is now the greatest hero for 900 IQ plays, and casters lose their shit and pass the fuck out.
SirSwag. Extra spicy.